Hello, class. In this video, we are going to start a series of practice exercises in how to use Photoshop, and we're going to render this house. We've been using it in class, and we're going to do it all through what I'm going to call the collage method, which is essentially taking other photographs and manipulating to fit the needs of the scene. Um, Across a series of exercises I'm going to explain, we might have times where we have to use the tools like painting or clone stamping or things like that, or filters. But we're going to try to stay away from those. We've already learned about those. We're just trying to focus on other techniques for this learning exercise. And in this video, we're going to start with the sky, which is actually, this is a great way to do a sky. It's super easy. Um, and we'll get you how to do that. So before we actually start, we got to always set up a drawing similar ways. I sort of provided this drawing. We're going to have to make some layers. So I'm going to come over here, make a new layer, unlock the background layer, comes layer 0. I'll just call it building. Ultimately, I want to put this layer up towards the top, and this layer is fine for now. And if you select on the building layer, what I want to actually do is I'm going to go to multiply. And if we remember, when I change my blending mode to multiply, anything that's white becomes transparent, black stays black, and a gray tone is transparently in between. So as I build up layers behind this for the rendering, the building shadows and lines will still remain visible, but none of the white of that drawing will be visible. So it's a great technique for architecture where you often run into black and white drawings like this. So for each of these steps, you're going to have to go to Google Images or have your own images or whatever the case might be for the various elements. And I've done this with Sky. So I've already gone to Google Images. I downloaded it and saved the Sky. You should go and do the same. Feel free to pick whatever sky you want to pick. I tried to pick a generic one just to sort of allow freedom in your own rendering as you develop a look that you want to look. So you can do that. And just as a quick note too, I do, especially with cell phones and things of that nature too, don't be afraid to say, oh, this is a cool sky, take a picture of it, use it in a rendering at some other point in time, or this is a cool field or a piece of grass, a tree, or whatever the case might be, because when you learn these techniques, you can start building your own library as well of specific things you want. So anyway, that's a long story. Go to Google Images for now, because probably what you have, and save it. So what we're going to do is going to open the sky, and you're going to have both of these drawings open like I do here, and we're just going to select all for the sky. I could have done Control A, and we're going to copy it. I'm just going to do Control C for a shortcut, and I'm going to come over to my drawing here that I provided and just paste it in. And it just comes in anywhere it goes. And actually, by default, it's going to put it as a top layer, and I'll just slide it back down underneath the bottom layer. And so there we go. Now what I should do actually before I go and scale this image, I should find the horizon line of the architecture, because I'm going to have a ground plane and a sky plane. I'm going to need to know generally where this is. And I'll talk about how to find perspectives. There's many different ways of doing it. For this assignment, which is still just a practice assignment, I'll do it a quick way, which is by estimating and using a guide. And so I know that this door is about 7 foot tall. I know a person against a door is probably the top of their head is approximately here, but I also know this door is up several stairs right here. So if I think their head is there, then I'm just going to lower it down to here. And so the eye level, your eye level of a person is always the same no matter where you are in the drawing. So I could take my ruler and kind of click on this ruler here. I'm clicking and holding, left clicking and pulling down, we get this gray line, and I'll drop this about where the horizon line is, and that's just, again, an estimate. So by the time you walk up these sets of stairs, or I should say walk down the sets of stairs, you can imagine a person standing here would be about that tall. That's where their eyes would be. Perspectives are always important, and I'll say that over and over again. Even if it's just understanding the horizon line, there'll be some other perspective work we will have to do as well. And for really a rendering like this, they can be estimated. Estimation is fine, but you actually have to know what you're doing to estimate them well. It's because an estimate doesn't. There's definitely lots of things that can be wrong as well. So we're just gonna know our rules and get it right. So here we go. I've just moved the sky over in the top right corner. And what we're going to do is we're going to scale this. So we go Edit, Transform, Scale. And the nice thing about skies is they don't necessarily have to be scaled proportionally. So I can hold Shift to just pull it down. I just want it to go below the horizon line a little bit. I'll put a ground plane and other elements above it, so it'll hide it eventually. And I'll pull it over to the right, all the way over to the side. And you can say, okay, well, this looks a little stretched. So again, there's no reason why I can't put the ground over it. So if I like the clouds a little bit better like that, I'll just set it there, whatever you think works for you. And I'll click it and we'll set it, and there we go. There's the sky. And of course, it's a real sky, so ultimately it's going to look pretty good. And this method does work with almost any technique. So later in the semester, once we start sort of taking the painting methods and the collage methods and 3D modeling and combine it all together, using collage on certain elements works really well, especially here for things like sky. So that's it. It's very simple. You find an image, cut and paste, and scale it. As long as you get your setup drawing, you're good to go.